Welcome into NFL Daily, presented today by Manscaped. We will tell you all about their top-of-the-line men's grooming packages. You get 20% off and free shipping when you head over to manscaped.com/chat. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and on Rumble as well, where we will once again have NFL Daily After Hours exclusively on Rumble. But as always, we want to make sure everyone has that chance to click the noti and tune in. Our first question of the day: who will sign Odell Beckham? A report out there linking 4 different teams to OBJ. Who will end up signing the once best young receiver in the entire NFL? Get those predictions in. Who will sign Odell Beckham? I see Rams from Viper, who we will talk about more in depth with the Aaron Donald mega deal coming in here. Yeah. Indo says the Saints. Patriots or re-sign with the Browns. Packers, which I actually like that idea because they've got nothing at receiver, if we're being honest about that position. Ravens from Tristan Bravo. Rams from Robert Clay, evergreen for life. Barkley, as a Browns fan, I'll let the Rams think back. I agree, the Eagles are not signing him. That's what producer Jeremy says, an Eagles fan here. Joseph had said Eagles. Ravens from Tyrone. Packers from Kason. Rams from Lore. Dolphins, because Albert Wilson left to the Vikings. Yeah, but they also got Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson, so I think they're okay there. Colts and Dolphins. What up, Chugs?
Is there a bigger slap in the face than if OBJ returns to the Browns?
No, there's not. It would be objectively hilarious.
It would be one of those, like, I don't even know, just like in like a stereotypical teen movie where the teen like slaps the other kid's lunch on the ground. Like that's the amount of disrespect.
Okay. Ravens from Brandon Tillman, Eagles from the NFL guy, Browns from Dewin Henry, another Eagles in there, Packers, Dolphins. I'm surprised by the number of Eagles and Dolphins votes. I don't consider them a great destination for Odell Beckham. We'll also spend some time on one Kyler Murray, as he is back at OTA. He's going to be there for minicamp for Arizona, looking for a very, very large and expensive new deal. So will the Cardinals actually pay Murray with 2 years left on his contract? Y for yes, N for no. What's up, Chugs?
Where my short kings at?
No.
Where my short king? Tom's a short king.
I'm not. Taller than you.
What are you talking about?
I'm 6 foot, Jeremy. That's not
No,
short
you're
kings.
not.
Yes, I am.
Tom is not 6
We've
foot.
had this conversation.
You're not 6 foot.
We literally stood back. We have done this exact same conversation before. We had to stand back to back.
Tom is not 6 foot.
Yes, I am. Absolutely. Don't let my shitty posture fool you.
Eli said it right there. Yo, short king.
Just because you can't see over the offensive line.
Tom's a short king.
Absolutely not. I see yeses from Lore, Alec G, King Higgins. Rashard Lee's also saying Celtics in 7. Okay. Further evidence, Rashard Lee is Jack's burner. Joseph Belson says no. T. Real says no, along with Jeremy Gates, a.k.a. the other Jeremy. NFL guy says yes, but Barkley Sunshine says no. King Higgins is 5'10 and considered a short king. You want to answer that one, Chugs?
Yeah, Tom's 5'10. He's a short king.
Absolutely not. That's ridiculous.
Tom's 5'10.
Now, I'm not as tall as Petey or Harrison or even Chase.
Marshall.
We've
over 6 foot?
had this conversation before. I'm not over 6 foot.
Marshall's giving me a no that you're not over 6 foot.
I'm not over 6 foot.
You're not over 6 foot.
I am 6 foot.
You're not.
I'm not over 6 foot.
Hashtag short king energy.
I am not over 6 foot. Absolutely not. I've never argued
that. The
that.
office is giving me a bunch of no's with Tom being 6 foot.
Rashard Lee just asked, is Mitch 6'5"? Not even close.
Mitch is the real short king.
King Higgins, that's what King says. Renz is the short king. No, Mitch is he even out there still? Yeah, he's not that. He ain't that tall there at all. All right, the Aaron Donald deal has gone down at maybe not long last, but the much expected Aaron Donald contract, a massive one. By the way, basically tearing up his old deal, 3 years, $95 million for Aaron Donald to be the highest paid defensive player by a pretty wide margin in there. So grade the deal. A, B, C, D, or F for Aaron Donald. Right now, 59% of the votes are saying A, 27% say B, 8% say C, and 6% say D or F. We'll break down the nitty-gritty of the details that we do have here in a little bit on today's show. But I do see mostly A's in there. Juan Hernandez, Tristan Bravo, Viper, Charles Shaw, Eli, Jeremy Gates, Robert Clay. Tristan would have paid whatever he wanted. It's Aaron Donald. He's the best non-QB, if not the best player in the NFL. kind of got to give him whatever he wants. A couple Bs coming in from the NFL guy, from Barkley, and it's kind of about it. It's about, I'd say 80% A's in the live chat, but only about 60% in the poll right now. We will revisit the Deshaun Watson saga, an okay word to use for this. I'm not sure if that's fair or not. He is now facing a 24th lawsuits from various masseuses because, how many games will Deshaun Watson end up being suspended? Let me know in the comments. You can make those predictions for me. I don't know, Jeremy. I see you just changed the live poll. You ended the old one. I don't trust you. Whatever you're doing, I don't trust you. Just so we're clear on that.
Tom, I have no idea why you wouldn't trust me.
I am
The new poll is Tom 6 foot.
Absolutely.
Why? Yes or no? Let me know. Do you think Tom is actually 6 foot?
So we have had this conversation before,
Resounding
Jeremy.
no.
We've had this conversation before where you didn't believe that I was 6 foot. You thought that you and I were the same height. And then we stood back to back, and I had like 2 inches on you.
There's nothing wrong with being a short king.
In both height and the other thing too. I had about
Exactly.
I had about 2 inches on you.
Where?
Exactly. Exactly right. I guess you can vote on that one. It is. I am absolutely. I have logged into my own account to vote.
Still out.
That's fine.
People are voting no.
It's fine. You can all be wrong. I know what I am. I'm 6 foot.
Hey, live your
It's fine.
truth, Tom. Live your truth.
It's not my truth. It is the truth. Just so we're clear.
Tom's 5'10", who identifies as 6 foot.
That's not how any of this works. All right. All right, back to our conversation at hand here. How many games will Deshaun Watson be suspended? I could have over under 6 to tie in the height there. I am very curious how the NFL likes to handle this entire situation because it's not good for the Browns or for Deshaun, etc. So I'll give some shout-outs. Oh, my God. Shout-outs of 17, 0, 8, 16, 8, 8, 8, 15, 16, 0, 7, 6, 0, 10, and 1.
Thank you for
9.
the super chat, Dylan Russell.
Yeah, go into it.
He said Tom is definitely under 6 foot.
Definitely not.
I agree with you, Dylan.
Absolutely
definitely
not.
Under 6 foot.
I am 6 foot. Someone asked what it says on my driver's license. It is 6 foot.
Also, you can write whatever you want on your driver's license.
No, you can't. You can't lie on an official document, Jeremy. Get it together, man. There was a very brief point where I used to be able to touch rim, by the way, in basketball.
Get out of
very
here.
brief. Like
Get
it was
out
barely
here.
touching. Couldn't
You
dunk.
were
Yes, I could.
You were never able to touch
Yes,
rim.
I could.
I don't believe you.
Yes, I could.
Jump right now. How?
Oh, no. This was at the end of high school.
Can you touch the ceiling right now?
Of course I can touch the ceiling, Jeremy. That's not even 8 feet. Man, maybe it's 8 feet. I don't know. Come on, dude. Acting like I'm freaking. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Back to this question. How many games will Deshaun be suspended? 6, 8. Let's see. It's a toxic Tom Bernie asked, how tall was the rim Fisher Price hoop? That's a good one. No, Rashard. No, I could not dunk. I could never dunk. Was not able to.
He could never dunk, and he could never touch rim. Let's get it straight.
I could touch rim very briefly. Could not come close anymore, because I'm old now. So, again, that was like 10 years ago. I don't know what Marshall's doing over there. 16. The Ronin says tiny hands. Now, Jack's not here, but he does have tiny hands. 16, 7 or 8, 16. We'll come back to this more in depth here in a little bit. We will also spend some time on Mel Kiper's 2023 NFL Draft Rankings. The quarterback version is now up. Who will be QB1 in the 2023 NFL Draft? 2 favorites early in what is shaping up to potentially be a better quarterback class. That is C.J. Stroud of Ohio State and Bryce Young of Alabama, pretty much neck and neck from that standpoint. Who will be QB1 in the 2023 NFL Draft? Rashard Lee says Bryce Young. I don't trust when you start doing things, Jeremy. Oh, you ended the poll to try and prove that it was right. Whatever. You can't cut it after 61 votes. That's not a big enough sample size. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. The Planemaker says Bryce Young / C.J. Stroud. Got to pick one, though. But, yeah, it's probably going to be one of those two guys. Smokey McKenzie says Stroud. Tristan says Bryce Young. Rashard Lee says Spencer Rattler. This is a new poll, by the way. The better quarterback prospect. Who will be the better quarterback prospect? Bryce Young or Stroud? My burner account says Sean Clifford. I know Chase loves that one. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Stroud. So it's one of those two. Feel free to vote in today's live poll as well. If you want us to get today's show started with the latest NFL news, rumors, short king propaganda from producer Jeremy, like the video right now. What's up, Chugs? You're getting ready. Every time you do the little, you can't see Jeremy. He's got a producer cam. He like leans forward and goes, "I got something to say." Like this cute little smile on his face.
Can we get to 69 likes? Can we do it?
I mean, we got 40, so I would hope so. It'd be pretty disappointing.
Let's get to 69 likes, and we'll start the show.
All right.
Let's get there.
For the record, that is Jeremy doing the bit, not me. So you can't make fun of me this time, Chase.
We can get there.
Some other comments on the QB side about Spencer Rattler and Anthony Richardson. We'll talk about both of those guys during that particular part of today's show. But we need your likes because, I don't know if they're going to get there, Chugs. I don't know if they're going to end up getting there. It's not even 50 yet with about 150 people watching live right now. That's sad. I blame you for this. This is your fault for your short king propaganda.
Hey, if we get to 69 likes, I'll measure Tom after the show, and we'll put it on Twitter.
There you go. All right, coming up on live here for today's show, latest NFL news and rumors. We got Aaron Donald, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, some holdouts and reporting for minicamp, etc. 2 mailbags. We will also break down on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble Mel Kiper's top 10 quarterback rankings and some of the names he forgot and chose to disrespect. We'll also break down on NFL Daily After Hours, exclusively on Rumble, some Mel Kiper running back rankings. All of that is coming up on live. 64 likes, by the way, Jeremy. 4 away now. I see 65. Now remember, since you're doing this, you have to screenshot the 69 likes. And then you annoy Marshall when your background's got all the different screenshots of 69 from that standpoint. So, Jeremy, I don't know if we're going to get there, bud. 66, 3 likes away. Again, latest NFL news and rumors, 2 mailbags, Mel Kiper quarterback rankings, and then NFL Daily After Hours running back edition with Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, etc. I was making fun of him, though, in the process, so it's fine. Jeremy's excited. 69 likes has been hit. Chase loves it as well. This is Jeremy. You can't blame me for this. This is all Jeremy's doing, all right? He said we couldn't start the show until we got there. We blew past it. Thank you, guys. Let's get into today's NFL Daily. You're watching NFL Daily, presented today by Manscaped. Father's Day is just around the corner. If you want to be a father or just to be someone's daddy, you should use Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all their top men's grooming products at manscaped.com/chat. First story of today, Aaron Donald has gotten the bag in a record-setting way from the Los Angeles Rams. A new deal that replaces the previous final 3 years left on his contract, $95 million through the 2024 season. In total, over the final 3 years of his deal, Donald gets a $40 million raise. Now, the details of the contract are fairly straightforward. 3 years, $95 million. $65 million of that is quote-unquote guaranteed. The way this contract pretty much sets up is Donald can retire, and there's no real financial penalty if he wants to retire after the 2023 campaign. If he decides to play in 2024, there's another $30 million as part of this deal coming his way. There are also 2 void years tacked onto this contract. So the $65 million covers the first 2 years of the deal, and if he decides to play in 2024, that base salary pretty quickly guarantees. So it's not technically a fully guaranteed contract, but from a practicality standpoint, it pretty much is. If he wants to play, of course. So grade the Aaron Donald deal for me. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about the NFL's best player getting a new record-setting contract? Over to Odell Beckham, a potentially former Los Angeles Ram. He is still unsigned. Report from Armando, I think I'm going to mispronounce the last name, Salguero. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry. Works for Outkick now. 4 teams interested in Odell Beckham, who is unlikely to be ready to play in Week 1 for he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. But OBJ had begun to rejuvenate his career with LA. He looked more like the original version of OBJ, or at least closer to it. The 4 teams linked: the New Orleans Saints, with Jarvis Landry making his pitch for a team that doesn't really need that much receiver help at this point. The LA Rams, head coach Sean McVay himself says he wants Odell Beckham back. The Colts, with OBJ himself saying he wouldn't mind playing with Matt Ryan. And the Cleveland Browns, which would be oh so interesting given how badly that ended. And I don't think there's a lot of love lost between OBJ and the Browns organization. I still think the Rams ends up making the most sense because OBJ was working with Matthew Stafford. It was working in LA, and he was playing really, really well before that unfortunate ACL injury and was really balling out in the postseason. Now, these stats here, the 593 yards, do reflect the postseason. In total in 2021, including his time with the Browns before he got cut, he had only 537 yards. A 1,000-yard receiver is valuable, but 2019, 2018, that was not the opening of his career. Odell Beckham, looked like he was going to be one of the best receivers in NFL history. He was on an unbelievable pace and then has very much cooled off. Then injuries playing a big part in that. But somebody will sign him at some point. This is not Antonio Brown after all. So make your predictions. Who will end up signing Odell Beckham? This question is the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. More contract talks here, this time around Kyler Murray, as Murray showed up to OTAs and will be at minicamp as he continues to look for a new deal. Now, Murray has 2 years left on his contract. Despite that, like many young players, he wants to get paid as soon as he possibly can, and Murray is eligible now for that new contract, and it will be very, very expensive if and when it ends up getting done. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated had some new information on the Murray situation. Quote, here's what he wrote: "My understanding is there was never really bad blood between Murray and his coaches, or even GM Steve Keim, but he felt like he needed to be aggressive in pursuing a contract, and he was promised repeatedly that the team would try to get an extension done in the summer. So now the ball is in owner Michael Bidwell's court. And Murray is actually in position to benefit from having waited with Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, and Matthew Stafford, having done mega deals since Murray's agent Eric Burkhart dropped the infamous pre-combine statement laying out where the quarterback's camp stood." We'll get to the potential contract value here for Murray, but first, will this actually happen? Will the Cardinals get a long-term deal done with Kyler Murray this offseason? Make those predictions for me. Y for yes or N for no. Now, from a per-year perspective, I think you would anticipate Kyler Murray getting upwards of $41 million per year. Derek Carr got a big-time deal with not as much guaranteed, with kind of a guarantee after this year that kicks in to make it more in line with other franchise QBs. This is the going rate for franchise guys at the quarterback position. It's going to command $40+ million if you think he's the guy. And if you don't, maybe you should trade him. Now, I don't anticipate Murray getting a fully guaranteed deal like the Browns perhaps somewhat questionably gave to Deshaun Watson. More on him in a little bit here. But I think you could expect a $40+ million per year deal with $125, $130 million guaranteed. That's the market for franchise guys. And you just got to wonder, though, is Murray the franchise guy? Like, I think he is. I think he will be. And I would have felt a lot better if he had not, to be blunt, struggled down the stretch. The last 7 games following the injury, Murray did not play like the franchise guy that we saw glimpses of and have seen glimpses of in the past. So keep that in mind for Murray. I do think, whether it's this year, next year, or some point soon, former first-round pick, someone's going to pay him big-time money. Manscaped has lost the Platinum Package 4.0, their best deal yet. $123.99 with the 20% off and free shipping you get when you use when you go to manscaped.com/chat. All of the items together is a $256 value. So we're talking a massive, massive amount of savings here. You get the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Ultra Premium Body Wash, shampoo and conditioner, deodorant, and you get the Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver ball spray toner, and the most comfortable boxers known to man, and the travel bag. There is a massive amount of products as part of the Platinum package. This is the best deal that Manscaped offers. If you want in on this with a 20% off and the free shipping, head over to manscaped.com/chat. That link will be in both the comment section and in the description of today's video. Let's talk Deshaun Watson now. This one, not great. Watson now faces 24 lawsuits at the moment. And per Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, the NFL has finished its investigation into him. Now, the 21st lawsuit was expected to come today. That ended up being the case there. Again, it's not particularly great. There was a note from Peter King. I think it was Mike Florio. July 1st is the date set for the pretrial discovery and the civil lawsuits going on right now. But the NFL allegedly has finished its investigation. So in theory, there should be a decision soon. I want you guys to make your predictions here. How many games will Deshaun Watson be suspended? Let me know in the comment section. Be honest with me. What you will, not what he should, or what you think the NFL will end up doing. Get those predictions in for me in the comments. And we did go more in depth on this, by the way, on yesterday's NFL Daily, our rumors and news roundup from Sunday. If you guys are subscribed, I'm sure you've watched the video. If you haven't, you can go check it. Thumbnail looks like that. I'll put the link in the comments, the description as well. Make sure you are subscribed. That way you guys don't miss out on any video here at Chat Sports on YouTube. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Let's move to a unique story, and I am so mad that Jack is not here. Intern Jack, big-time Patriots fan, because he'd be mad about this one. Report out of The Athletic is that Matt Patricia is the favorite to handle offensive play calling in 2022. Josh McDaniels leaves and goes to the Raiders to be their head coach there. And the Patriots have no official offensive play caller. Instead, some Bill Belichick, some Matt Patricia, and some Joe Judge in charge of running a lot of the offensive drills and whatnot. So at some point, I mean, you're not going to let Mac Jones call his plays. Somebody has to be the offensive coordinator. Making Patricia the OC, or at least the play caller, whether he has a title or not, is pretty funny to me because he has not been an offensive coach since 2005. We're talking over 15 years. Almost a defensive coach lifer with the Lions as head coach, Patriots DC, safeties coach, linebackers coach, was briefly an assistant offensive line coach and an offensive assistant in 2005 and 04, was a Syracuse offensive grad assistant. It was the Amherst defensive line coach, and then the RPI engineers as a grad assistant as well. He is not an offensive mind. So this would be rather interesting, funny, unique, potential disaster for New England if Patricia is the play caller. Joe Judge, I am sure will have input. I think Belichick will too. But this is unorthodox by New England. So give me your one-word reaction. In the event Matt Patricia, former Lions head coach, the nerd, is indeed the Patriots OC, what's your one-word reaction? Drop it for me in the comments section. Lions fans going to love that one. Dalton Schultz, some news here as we talk OTA holdouts and whatnot. He is skipping the rest of Cowboys OTAs, unhappy with the contract talks that haven't really been going on very much between Schultz and the Cowboys. He wants big-time money. The Cowboys don't pay that, even to guys that they like. I think you got franchise tag year coming up for Schultz. Then he leaves next year in free agency. 3 notable names are going to show up, though, to mandatory minicamp. Aaron Rodgers, back after skipping OTA, so too will be Tom Brady. Kenny Moore and Isaiah Wynn, 2 players who want new deals. They'll be at minicamp because they face fines of almost $100,000 if they don't show up. Yeah, they ain't going to pass on that money at all. All right, time for our random question of the day. What's your favorite movie? Again, man, I should have done this with Jack here. Oh, well, it'll be funnier that way. Jeremy, what's your favorite movie of all time? Wow, the SpongeBob movie. Bold choice, Jeremy.
Wow. Good one, Tom.
Thanks, bud.
God, you know what they say. The shortest guys have the best jokes. Good one, Tom. My favorite movie.
Not a phrase, but good job.
I heard actually Tom writes in shorthand as well.
That one's better.
I'd have to go. I love The Dark Knight.
Good choice.
I mean, it's a classic. It's such a good movie. Dang, I'm trying to think.
You think I'll give some shout outs here? I see some NFL ones. The Blind Side. Jerry Maguire.
Spaceballs is a great movie.
Spaceballs is hilarious.
That's a great movie.
I see Lion King, Jerry Maguire, The Blind Side, Ted, Shaun of the Dead, Spaceballs, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. That was
Step Brothers. That's good.
That was bad.
I love The Other Guys. That
Fight
movie's
Club.
hilarious.
Other Guys is great. Top Gun Maverick, Step Brothers, The Good Brother.
You know, a movie that really holds up. I thought it was like one of the funniest movies I'd ever seen.
Everything Marvel.
Yeah. One of the funniest movies I'd ever seen in theaters. The Hangover, still hilarious.
That's good. First one's good. Super Troopers, awesome movie.
Yeah. Grandma's Boy.
Training
I love
Day
that.
in there.
Have you seen Grandma's Boy?
Back to the Future. Tristan Bravo wants a desk pop.
You never done a desk pop before?
Desk pop. Game Plan. See Oscar the Sting. Let's see what else we got coming.
Weird. We're not seeing a bunch of La La Lands in here.
Go figure. But
That's
God,
weird.
Jack's not here. We could have had so much fun with this. Let's see. Grader's good. Super Troopers. Draft Day. Draft Day was okay. It was okay.
If that's
honestly
that can't be your favorite movie.
Jags GM was pretty stupid.
That can't be your favorite movie.
I'll tell you what. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
That could have been a lot worse. Spider-Man, Training Day, Road Trip.
Have you ever had a movie that made you cry?
Sometimes, yeah.
What's the last movie that's made you cry?
I don't know. I only see like Marvel stuff now. That's all I have time for, and those aren't exactly tear jerkers at all.
For me, it's The Brave Little Toaster.
I don't think I've seen that one. I don't know.
Type me if you've seen The Brave Little Toaster before.
Tremors, Endgame, Spider-Man. People are saying The Notebook made them cry. I don't think I saw that one in full. Yeah, let's move on here. We'll get mailbag in a second. After today's show wraps up here on YouTube and Facebook, it is NFL Daily After Hours exclusively on Rumble. So make sure you're following us, rumble.com/NFL Daily. I'll make sure that link, by the way, is in the... I mean, maybe I have, but it doesn't sound familiar to me. Anyway... exclusively on Rumble. You can type me if you're watching over there right now. We will have the Kiper running back rankings, breaking down that one for you guys, exclusively NFL Daily After Hours. It is mailbag time, though, where we answer all of your questions live here on Chat Sports. 2 ways to get on the show. Number 1, #NFL or Super Chat if you want to jump the line and get your question answered all together. What's up, Jeremy? Oh, there's some. There you go, Jeremy. Again, #NFL or Super Chat if you want to get your questions answered on today's show. Today's live NFL mailbag is powered by Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping on all of their men's grooming products, including the new Platinum Package 4.0 at manscaped.com/chat. From the RC Playmaker, how many sacks will the Falcons defense record in 2022? I assume that's what you're asking there. The Falcons last year, to be blunt, were really bad about getting after the QB. They struggled pretty heavily to actually produce any type of sacks. They had, I believe, let me double check the numbers. 18, which was 11 less than the previous lowest team. So if they can get to 30, massive growth. That'll be a big win for Atlanta this year. From Tristan Bravo, if Gronk doesn't come back and getting rid of OJ, do you think the Bucs are in trouble at tight end, or can Brady elevate whoever is in the position? So the plan, I think, is to get Gronk back to Tampa. But they did keep Cameron Brate, and they did draft 2 tight ends on day 3, including Ike Lott and Cade Otton. Otten long-term will be their guy. I think the solution is you still use Cam Brate. You go super deep at wide receiver. You go 7 deep, to be honest. So I think they will use a lot of heavy receiver packages if Gronk does not come back. Atlantis Gaming. Peyton Manning should be the next owner of the NFL. I feel like you mean the Broncos as opposed to like next owner in the NFL, because you can't own the NFL individually. You can own a franchise. I do think Manning wants to be an owner. That's a trickier task to achieve because, money. I would think he's trying to be a part in some capacity of a potential minority owner in whatever person wins the bid. So I like the idea. We'll have to wait and see. From Tyrone Biggums, instead of trading for Baker Mayfield, should Seattle trade for Sam Darnold? To be blunt, no. They're pretty similar costs from a contract perspective, and Sam Darnold sucks. I know that he was held back by Adam Gase in New York. He hasn't been good anywhere or ever in his time in the NFL. Talking about not accurate, not good production, and often injured. I can't do anything with that guy. Now, if the Panthers cut him, okay, sure, I guess you could revisit that. I would have way, way, way more interest in adding a player who I've seen play at a top 10 level in 2022 in Baker Mayfield than in Sam Darnold, who's never been all that good in the NFL. But what do you guys think? We're a show for the people here, after all. Pick a QB. Who would you rather have to start if you had to start one? BM for Baker Mayfield, SD for Sam Darnold. This is the pinned comment here on today's video, so if the ad break comes, take advantage of it, BM or SD. From Jason N., who's going to buy the Panthers knowing the owner filed bankruptcy? So that was one of his companies that I believe had to file bankruptcy, so I don't think you're going to see David Tepper, that's the Panthers owner, by the way, be forced to sell. He's still got plenty of money. It's just the company has to go. So I wouldn't worry too much about that front as it relates to David Tepper. It was just his real estate company. He's still going to be the owner. He's got plenty of money. From Larry Rosen, it will be great to see all the NFL experts crash and burn when the Bears win the NFC North this year. Larry, if the Bears win the NFC North, I will be very surprised and very happy for all the Bears fans out there. This is a multi-year rebuild. They would have had a much better shot if Aaron Rodgers did not return, and I will be one of the experts who crash and burn. I think they finished third in the division. From Smokey254 McKenzie, who is your top/favorite QB in the draft other than Stroud and Bryce? Who will be the most improved rookie QB from last year? Okay, so first question. I liked a lot of what I saw out of Tyler Van Dyke. There is a tier gap for me after Stroud and Young, but there's also some very intriguing depth beyond Van Dyke. So we'll spend plenty of time on that question, I promise you, throughout the NFL offseason and into next year too. Most improved rookie QB, Davis Mills, Mac Jones have higher floors right now relative to their assumed ceiling, so I'll cross them off the list. Trey Lance will have the biggest statistical improvement since he didn't play that much last year. I think Fields' breakout will come in year 3. I'm hopeful for Zach Wilson. If the Jags can just catch, it will be Trevor Lawrence. There are so many awesome plays on film. Lawrence out there dropping dimes. His guys just can't catch. So I hope it's Trevor Lawrence. Trey Lance, though, is a very intriguing bet as well. And, of course, hopefully Zach Wilson takes a step forward as well. Now, if you want to improve your everything about your sex life, you should be using Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all their products, including the all-new Platinum Package 4.0. That includes the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the ear and nose hair trimmer, the Ultra Premium Body Wash, shampoo and conditioner, a 2-in-1 product, and their deodorant, ball spray toner as well, and the Boxers and the travel bag as well. Super helpful if you ever end up traveling at all. 20% off and free shipping. It's in total $123.99 on a $256 and change dollar value. You will not find a better deal than this one from Manscaped, so check the comment section and the description for the deal. It's manscaped.com/chat. From the Ronin 99, what team goes from worst to first this year? It's a great question. A couple teams that jump out to me from that standpoint. Denver in the loaded AFC West has a chance. The Ravens in the strong AFC North have a very good chance. Beyond that, I think it's one of those two teams. I'm not buying Houston or the Giants or the other New York team either. Seattle's rebuilding. Detroit's not there yet. Carolina has no good QB. And the Jags are the Jags. So the Texans were not a worst to first team. So I'm thinking Denver or Baltimore. From Jeremy Gates, the cool Jeremy. How good are the chances that my Saints get back to and make some noise in the postseason due to off-season upgrades? So in the NFC, very good chance. Let's assume Cowboys and Philly make it in the NFC. One team's wild card, one team's the division winner. That leaves 2 wild card spots, assuming the Bucs win the NFC South, right? Between Falcons and Panthers, not that good. Vikings, maybe. Cardinals, Niners are your real threats there. And that assumes 2 NFC East teams make it. So they are going to be a prime playoff threat. Jameis Winston, though, has to take a massive step forward for them to make some true noise beyond maybe winning 1 game or so. From Clint, will the Bears trade for Robert Quinn, or trade Robert Quinn, and to where? I'm going to go. I know how the last name goes there, Clint. Nice try, bud. I could see Robert Quinn being traded. I think if the Bears are rebuilding, you ship them off and get a draft pick. And one team stands out among these 5. The Cardinals drafted some edge but need more experience there. The Ravens could use a 1-year rental. Carolina needs help. The Chiefs could use a guy. The Rams really stand out as a fit. It would be a reunion for Quinn and LA. Well, at least the Rams part of it, I should say. The Bears could trade him at the deadline. That's where I think a trade makes the most sense because they'll be competitive early on, but if they get out of the playoff race, then you shop a guy like Quinn. So make your predictions for me. Will the Bears trade Robert Quinn? Y for yes or N for no? Make those predictions for me in the comments section. For Matthew Fry or Frey, is the projected contract extension for Russell Wilson of 5 years, $250 million, is that a good deal for Russ? From Wilson's perspective, yeah, it makes him the second highest paid QB in the NFL. For the Broncos' perspective, welcome to life with a franchise QB, which you haven't had in a while. Like, this is going to be a very expensive situation for the Denver Broncos, probably after they have a new owner because you got to have the money in trust, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's not $5,250. Maybe it's, a little bit less years, a little bit less money. He will be on this top 5 highest paid list. I can pretty much promise you that. It's a matter of how much and what the guarantees look like. But the Broncos traded for him. What are they going to do? Not pay him? From Evan Hinders, Steelers should trade for Chris Carson. I think they would very much like to. The Seahawks should. I mean, they got Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny. Here's your problem. I don't know if he's healthy. That neck is a very real red flag for Seattle and the rest of the NFL. He's somewhat affordable, but if the medical doesn't check out, which I have concerns about, nobody's going to trade for him. Pedro Sandoval. Here's a question from producer Jeremy. How many sacks does Jordan Davis have this year? All right, Jeremy.
So you look at Jordan Davis's college production. He didn't get a ton of sacks, actually, at Georgia. He was really kind of just eating up blocks in the middle, and I think he's going to do the same thing for the Eagles. I wouldn't base his production on sacks. I think a good year for him is 1.5 sacks, 2 sacks. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I think he's going to be more of a terror with tackles for loss and then also just eating up blocks so we can get one-on-ones for Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, and some of those edge rushers, Hassan Reddick. Like those guys are going to be the ones who get the sacks from Jordan Davis eating up the blocks. I hope that answers your question.
I think you did quite well there, Jeremy. His goal is to be more of a pocket pusher, more so than a disruptive Fletcher Cox style player. Brokov, if the Cowboys had traded Dak for Miami's 3 firsts back in 2000, who would you have drafted? Okay, this is a fun question, a different style question there. All right, 2020 NFL draft. Let me get the orders and everything pulled up so I don't mess anything up here. So Burrow's off the board. Tua, despite the revisionist history, was the consensus pick at number 5. It was Tua and then Herbert. So, if we're being honest with what they probably would have done, they probably would have drafted Tua at number 5. They had 17, so they're still going to take CeeDee Lamb at number 17. They then have 18. I think they would have taken Kayvon Chasen at number 18, which would not have worked out all that great in the end. They also would have had 30 as a pick, which, what route would they have gone? You know what? Maybe they would have taken a corner there. It actually might have been Diggs at 30 at that point. So it wouldn't have been that different. You just would have swapped out Dak Prescott for Kayvon Chasen and let's just say Trevon Diggs, and you get, we'll go a different. Let's go a different player there. They go offensive line help, and they take how about they take Xavier McKinney at safety? How about have fun and give me a safety player? That'd have been a disaster for Dallas. Now, if you want to be a part of the mailbags, then subscribe. Hit that big red button for free videos every single day, multiple times each day right here on Chat Sports. The link, bottom of your screen, it is youtube.com/chatsportstv. From Drake, la 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 la. If the Raiders trade Josh Jacobs or Kenyon Drake, who's a good fit? I assume you mean destination-wise, not like who's a good replacement. Teams that could be in the running back market here. Arizona, if they want to upgrade over Darrell Williams at RB2. The Saints, Mark Ingram, and a possibly suspended Alvin Kamara. The Eagles, I don't believe that much in Boston Scott, and Miles Sanders is maybe never going to be the true guy I think he could be. The Steelers and Titans have workhorse backs, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry. A lot of unknowns behind them. If you want a cheap-ish, Drake's a lot cheaper, by the way, than Josh Jacobs is. If you want to get one of those two guys, Steelers and Titans make a lot of sense as a backup situation for that particular spot. Now, I want you to be a hater. You can be mean in the comments section here. Name a player who you want to trade away from your favorite team. You don't want them anymore. You want to ship them off. Let me know in the comments section. Darrell Lewis, extremely hot take. All West Division teams will make the playoffs in the 2022/2023 season. What is your hottest take? Okay, I'll answer the first part there. Yeah, it makes sense. Like in terms of like the talent, if they were in the NFC, if this was the NFC West, I think we'd feel good about all those teams making it there. My hottest take. What do we go with here? Let's see. The Bengals don't make the playoffs this year after they go Super Bowl to not making it, and they just regress a little bit and have that Super Bowl hangover season. From Raygon84, interesting. Is there any way the Ravens trade Lamar Jackson? So I think we have to be honest here. The Lamar Jackson situation's weird. It is not normal for a franchise to want to pay a QB, if you believe what they have said publicly, and the quarterback to be like, I don't know. I'm fine right now. That's highly unusual. I don't think Lamar gets great advice from his lack of an agent. I don't think they trade him, but if you're the Ravens and you reach next offseason and he goes, I haven't signed a deal yet, maybe you consider it just a little bit and go, maybe I should try to potentially move on from that standpoint. That was our NFL mailbag. Remember, folks, if you have questions, you can always DM us on Twitter. We'll get back to you with any and all of your answers here, right here on Chat Sports. All right, this was the pin poll earlier today, and then we changed it multiple times, including me being 6 foot confirmed. Will the Cardinals pay, I got the data, will the Cardinals pay Kyler Murray this offseason? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section. Will Arizona actually pay Kyler this offseason? Make your predictions for me. I think yes. Not because they paid the head coach and the GM extended them, and if you don't pay your quarterback, I don't know what you're doing there. But you also probably don't want to pay him, but if you wait, it's going to be more expensive. It's a whole conversation. You have to trust your internal evaluation there. Anthony says no. XX Chronicle says no. Greasy Flights, I hope so. Lore says yes. John Hepburn says yes. Justin Felipe says no. Melly DeMoney says no. James Noah says no as well. So get your predictions in there. Will the Cardinals pay Kyler Murray this offseason? Y for yes, N for no. DJ Owen says hell no. Mark Gabbert says no. 30 Rack says yes. Jarrell Lewis also says yes on that front. Question now per producer Jeremy, which is better, chicken nuggets or tenders? N for nugs, T for tenders. It's tenders, by the way. I'm not a child, Jeremy. It's tenders. Now, what you could have done is what's better, chicken nuggets, tenders, or boneless wings, because they're not really wings.
Dude.
But they are good.
Have you had Wendy's spicy nugs?
Yes, I have. Tenders are better.
They go hard.
Nuggets have a higher floor. Tenders have a much higher ceiling.
I would agree with that. Tenders are really, when you get a good tender, they're really good.
Now, you can mess up a tender, and it's a little hard to mess up a nugget because they're made for kids. So
Tristan says depends on where they come from.
Top tier nugget versus top tier tender, or even just the average. If you want to go that route, it's tenders either way though.
Brokoff says no.
Everyone agrees with me. They think nuggets are for kids.
I've seen a couple nugs
it's
in there.
It's mostly tenders. Those are the kids saying.
We all know Marshall
nugs.
Loves nugs.
Okay, if you say so.
He loves a good old nug.
All right, keep the answers coming. N for nuggets, T for tenders. I think it's tenders pretty clearly. Like, that's just better. That's much more adult food after all. Now, we will be on NFL Daily after hours. Neither is that much of an adult food, if we're being honest. It's very unhealthy. Join us for NFL Daily after hours exclusively on Rumble. It is rumble.com/NFL Daily. I'll make sure the link to the live stream gets in the comments section. It's in the description already as well. Head over there. You can tune in for our NFL Daily After Hours segment exclusively on Rumble. Some running back rankings from Mel Kiper with the quarterback version coming up here in just a second. So, again, make sure you guys are following us on Rumble. What's up, Jeremy?
Last thing, and then I'll drop the tender nuggets.
Okay.
Have you ever been to a nice restaurant and gotten tenders?
No, because I get real food.
But you've never been to like a decent restaurant, like a nicer restaurant, and gotten chicken tenders?
I haven't gotten chicken nugs either. I'm not sure what your argument is here.
I'm just saying, like chicken tenders from a nice restaurant?
Yeah, but I'm going to get a steak or something, not chicken tenders. That's not what tenders are for.
God, Tom's just mad because he's the size of a chicken tender.
There you go. I don't know what your argument was in the end. I was very confused by that. Anyway, NFL Daily After Hours will be exclusively on Rumble. That link's in the live chat right now, so make sure you guys get over there and support us and follow us, rumble.com/NFL Daily. Now, again, that link's in there. Shout out executive producer Tyler for putting that link in there in the comments. Yeah, I gave him the EP title today because I already called someone an intern. So, now if you guys want more NFL draft videos, make sure you are subscribed to us here on Chat Sports. We are this close to 300,000 subscribers in total. If you want to get all of the best 2023 NFL draft coverage, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Today, we're taking a look at the Mel Kiper way too early quarterback rankings for the 2023 NFL Draft. He ranked his top 10, and then I pointed out some players that he did miss/leave out of his rankings, as I do every year. Number 1, Bryce Young. This one should not come as any real surprise here, at least 1 and 2. The order can be debated, but the rankings make plenty of sense there. Young had a very, very strong 2021 campaign. He did, after all, win the Heisman Trophy, so not a whole lot more you could have expected there. The knock on Young is that he doesn't have ideal size. He's a bit thin and a bit short. Not terribly short, but he's not big either. The rest of the traits, despite being a bit of an off-platform thrower, the arm strength's great, the ball placement's really good there. A lot of traits, a lot of skills, just doesn't have the ideal size. He will be dinged for that in the NFL draft process. But you can't knock the production out of Bryce Young. 47 touchdowns, 7 INTs, has the traits that you want. I have no real complaints with Young at number 1, nor with C.J. Stroud at number 2 overall. Now, Stroud began the year slow. There were even calls to, hey, you got to put in somebody else at quarterback. You can't be putting this guy in there. Stroud's not the answer. There were calls to play Quinn Ewers. That did not go down. And Ohio State was correct. Stroud offers a bigger size, bigger frame, more prototypical build than Bryce Young does. I do think his supporting cast with what will end up being multiple first-round picks at receiver is a little bit better. Not by a massive margin, but a bit better than what Young had. His production, also very impressive. And I wonder how many people will make an argument about the cold being a factor. He did not play very well against Michigan in the cold, and that was really his only bad game as the season, even not elite game, I should say, as the year went on. So for the most part, these two players, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, are viewed as the consensus top two quarterbacks in what is shaping up to be a better draft class at QB than what we had in the 2021 draft, or 2022 draft, excuse me. So who would you rather have for 2023? Type in BY for Bryce Young or CJ for CJ Stroud. Number 3, it is Tyler Van Dyke, and I like this placement and positioning here for Van Dyke, who I was very impressed by once he took over in Miami. Good size, good arm strength. There is a slightly elongated motion, not terribly long. It's not like a giant loop, but it's not as quick as other motions are, but the arm strength helps make up for it. He's number 12 in Kiper's way too early top 25 rankings, by the way. The production was good. Now, I think that hopefully an offense that is a bit better around him will result in a higher completion percentage. Again, the yards were lower because he wasn't a full-time starter. 25 touchdowns, 6 INTs. The flashes are very intriguing out of Van Dyke. He is one of the guys I am most excited to watch this year in college football. That's the top 3, 7 more plus my other 8 guys I want to watch this year. Who will be quarterback 1 in the 2023 NFL Draft? Make your predictions for me at the pinned comments of today's video. So, if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The surprise ranking is number 4, Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida. He's number 13 on Kiper's rankings, which is, that's dicey, man. He is a massive boom or bust prospect. The traits are there. Big arm, got a good frame, great dual threat as well. You are banking on all upside with Richardson being ranked this high in a very limited role at Florida due to injuries and some alleged attitude stuff and Dan Mullen being Dan Mullen. He didn't play that much. And when he was out there, he wasn't shockingly elite either. Sub 60% completion rate, 6 touchdowns, 5 INTs, did have 400 yards on the ground. I have to see it for an entire year before I get fully on board with Richardson. Remember, Mel Kiper had Emory Jones at number 10 on his way too early last year when it comes to QBs. Number 5, this one is a controversial name. That is Will Levis, the quarterback from Kentucky, former Penn State transfer, had a breakout year for Kentucky, but this is another boom or bust player. The traits and more experience than like Richardson are there. Arm strength, mobility. He does need more consistency. And the NFL draft is all about projection. So when you have an entire year of college football left, I understand some, question marks about the full-fledged, projection. Levis did flash, the arm, the mobility, but he wasn't always perfect in that area, which should be a red flag. Now without Wan'Dale Robinson, I am very curious how Levis ends up faring. He is a dual threat with some good size and mobility there. Not the best numbers, but remember, sacks also count against you from the quarterback position with the yards on the ground. So pure NFL, that number will probably be a little bit higher. A lot of hype around this year's quarterback class, the way too early version, I should say. How many quarterbacks do you think end up being drafted in round 1 of the 2023 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments. Jaren Hall, number 6 here, and I like putting him in the top 10. Undersized, which is a red flag for teams, makes it tough to go more over the middle on your passes. Good athlete, can make some highlight reel plays. The biggest red flag for me, he is already 24 years old. He did the whole Mormon mission thing, right? That would make him a 25-year-old rookie. I don't like that as a potential first-round pick at QB. That's just a little bit too much for me. I like a lot of what he brings. I would feel better if he were, entering his age 21 season. He's not. That is a big difference. Not quite Brandon Whedon-esque, But that is a ding teams will have because by the time he's finishing up his first contract, he's going to be 30. And that's if he goes in the first round. That's not what NFL teams want. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us here at Chat Sports. I want to do more NFL draft videos because I am a nerd and I find that stuff fun. But I did say I was a nerd, but we need more help to get there. Help us get to 300,000 subscribers by hitting that big red button and subscribing for free right here at Chat Sports. Tanner McKee checks in at number 7, and I don't know about this one. McKee does check off a lot of the prototypical boxes of a QB. He's got a big arm. He's tall. He's got the pro-style quarterback at Stanford. My issue here is that even though we can argue that the Stanford offense is old, outdated, and holds back quarterbacks, Tanner McKee has simply not been productive in his time in college. He has not been the eye-popping level of production out of the quarterback position. That's not what you're angling for from that standpoint. You needed more from Tanner McKee in his NFL career. He has not, or his CFP career, he has not been productive enough to justify, for me, the round 1 buzz. This is not first-round pick production. Honestly, you got to double the yards and double the touchdowns. Now, he struggled down the stretch. Some traits are there. He's not a finished product yet. Devin Leary from NC State next up here, and I like this inclusion. Major breakout 2021 campaign from Devin Leary. And like more and more QBs, though, he doesn't have the ideal size teams still choose to covet. But as a potential sleeper, if you can have a sleeper at the quarterback position, Leary is a very good name to keep an eye out, and largely because of that massive jump in production. His first 2 years at NC State, to be blunt, he wasn't very good. 52.1% completion percentage. He had not much production. He's a pocket passer, not a runner, but 37 touchdowns against 5 INTs in similar games played with way more yards. Keep an eye on Leary if you want to go college football only. How about a sleeper for Heisman if NC State can win the ACC this year? Now, speaking of sleepers, I like Devin Leary as one. I want you guys to name a sleeper prospect for me to keep an eye out for this upcoming college football season at the quarterback position. Drop that name for me in the comments section right now. Phil Jurkovich, number 9. He was, by the way, number 8 on Kiper's early rankings last year. He had transferred from Notre Dame to Boston College as a starter, showed some promise. This past year, though, in 2021, he was not healthy. It was supposed to be a season-ending injury. He came back, and overall, the production has not been great from Jurkovich. 16 games in the past 2 years. Sub 60% completion rate. That is a huge red flag. Now, it was above that number in his healthy year, so that's valuable. Has the arm, decent mobility, good size, a lot of traits here, needs a big step forward. Maybe nobody outside of like Kenny Pickett had a bigger step forward last year than Hendon Hooker. Transferred from Virginia Tech, wins the job for the Volunteers, and takes a massive step forward. The red flag here, beyond being a one-year wonder, he is already 24 years old. He would also be a 25-year-old rookie. Not ideal. Will be dinged by the NFL. But look at the growth, right? More accurate from Virginia Tech to Tennessee. Almost the same number of yards in fewer games, by the way. Touchdowns, the same, but the interceptions drop way down. Hooker was more consistent in far fewer games for the Volunteers than he ever was at Virginia Tech. So that is Kiper's top 10, with Hooker rounding out the top 10. Who did Mel Kiper disrespect in his quarterback rankings? I will make note, last year, he had Keaton Slovis, Jaden Daniels, and Emory Jones in his top 10. All 3 of them are back at the college level this year. They are not in the top 10. Who did Mel Kiper disrespect? Drop a name for me in the comments section. Maybe this name is most intriguing. And we'll go through all 4 of these guys here. Cam Ward, Sam Hartman, Grayson McCall. Last year, Spencer Rattler was quarterback 1 for Mel Kiper. After a bad year at Oklahoma, didn't even crack the top 10. Rattler was not nearly as good in 2021 as he was in 2020. Now, the completion percentage did go up, which, okay, but the yards per attempt plummeted down to 7.9. Fewer touchdowns, more INTs on a per-pass basis there. In addition to the potential off-the-field stuff that is worried, I'm sure we all watched the Netflix series, Rattler has to bounce back. I was a bit surprised he didn't make the top 10, though, for Mel Kiper. Here's a sleeper name for you. Cam Ward, who was transferred, I should say, this past year, from Incarnate Word, thank you, Jeremy, to Washington State. Decent size. This is a potentially more traitsy version of either Gardner Minshew or last year's big-time transfer, Bailey Zappi. Good production. Can he take that next step forward? If he does, do not sleep on Cam Ward. Sam Hartman is next up here. Awesome touchdown numbers. Here's my red flag. He has never been a 59% completion percentage guy. He's not accurate. And offense, I get blah, blah, blah. Not an accurate thrower of the football. That has to be ironed out. By the way, Sam Hartman, also a little bit older than what you would typically like in your quarterbacks. He's not exactly a young player at this point in his CFB career. He turns 23 in a couple weeks, so he would be a 24-year-old rookie. Grayson McCall is next up here. He has certainly benefited from going up against lesser competition. I see backup quarterback. He doesn't turn the football over. He's generally very accurate. Doesn't have the world's greatest size or measurables, but I do think he is a draftable prospect as we sit right now. 4 more names I want to mention, with apologies to Emory Jones and JT Daniels, who didn't make the list after being in Kiper's top 10 last year. Oops. Keaton Slovis, Jake Haener, Brennan Armstrong, the lefty, and KJ Jefferson. Slovis is at Pitt now, at USC last year. I just don't think he's good. Jake Haener is, again, kind of a backup-style quarterback. Armstrong's a lefty, kind of intriguing. I am very curious to see how KJ Jefferson fares without Treylon Burks. If he plays well, there will be some buzz around him this upcoming season. Back to this question. Who will be quarterback 1 in the 2023 NFL Draft? By the way, over the pin poll, 66% are voting with Bryce Young, which I think that makes sense. It's a toss-up for me right now. CJ, it's Coleridge Stroud, as Boss James likes to say here at Chat Sports. CJ Stroud is in there. Let's see. It is not. It is not Trey Word's son. I just respect Nugs too. Tenders are better. I'm an adult now, Jeremy. I have a kid and stuff. I see Y Big Jordan says CJ. Let's see, I got Archie Manning. He's not eligible yet. Someone mentioned JD Nugs as a sleeper. He counts as a sleeper now, but not quite there yet.
Hot take.
What's up?
If Archie Manning didn't have that last name, he'd be a 4-star.
I mean, it helps.
He'd be a 4-star.
Look, you're probably right.
He plays in a weak division in Louisiana, and he put up like 23 touchdowns last year.
Was the offense run heavy? I don't do recruiting stuff.
I mean, he's a 5-star perfect prospect, same as Quinn Ewers, and he has 23
Well, Ewers already had a transfer, dude. He's not even that good.
True.
I'm kidding.
Just saying,
I'm kidding.
I guarantee there are better 2023 quarterbacks than I can't even remember his name now. Manning.
Arch Manning. Remember, bloodlines matter. Fair or not, they do matter. Other names here: Spencer Rattler, Resurrection from Brokov. Foghorn Leghorn, speaking of chicken, says Stetson Bennett. He will not be drafted. At least he shouldn't be. He is going to be a 26-year-old rookie who that team won in spite of him, to be clear.
Did you see how he was slicing up the Michigan defense?
You mean the defense killed Michigan's defense? He's not that good. He ain't that guy. Was it Blake Sims, the Bama QB that 1 year? Very different styles, but good good college QB on an awesome team with a loaded defense.
It's like McElroy being like, I was
That's perfect.
undefeated
That's
in
exactly
college."
right. McElroy, that's a great comparison there. I like that one. All right, keep your answers coming. Who will be QB1 for 2023? Remember, we will have the running back rankings from Mel Kiper exclusively on Rumble at rumble.com/NFL Daily. That link will be in the comment section and in the description. It's already in there right now. Head over there after the mailbag wraps up for the exclusive segment on that front. But we do have one more mailbag first for you guys here. 2 ways to get on the show. Number 1, use hashtag NFL. Or if you want to skip the line like Dylan Russell did in a slanderous super chat earlier, just super chat. That'll get you to the front of the queue for producer Jeremy. You say you need more questions? All right, that means you guys got a great chance to get on the show. Use hashtag NFL. So if you have questions, by the way, and you're not actually using the hashtag, it doesn't come through. It gets lost in the sauce of the other questions we ask you guys. So you got to use that hashtag, just like Tyler Samples just did. Use hashtag NFL to get your questions on the show. You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey here with a mailbag, answering all of your questions as part of today's live NFL Daily. Remember, if you want to be on the mailbags, kind of need to be subscribed. From Melly to Money, if Dak wins MVP this year and we make the Super Bowl and lose, would that be a good season? The Cowboys have not been that far since I was roughly the age of 3. So, hell yeah, it's a good season. It's not perfect. But if I told you right now the Cowboys make the Super Bowl, every Cowboy fan goes, yes, I'm in. Sold. Let's do it. That's the mark of a good season. Evan Hinders, odds the Dolphins make the playoffs. That's the tricky part because I think the Dolphins are a good football team. 9-8 last year. In theory, better on offense this upcoming season. The problem is, AFC's loaded, man. Bills, Chiefs, Raiders made it last year. Chargers, Broncos should be better. AFC North has 4 borderline playoff teams if you count Pittsburgh. Titans, Colts. Patriots might be decent. So probably less than 50-50 just because of how good the AFC is overall. From Jeremy Gates, what do my Saints need to round out the roster? Another running back, Quan Alexander. Overall, in terms of like the realistic upgrades, like you'd love Mahomes. You're not going to get Mahomes, right? Maybe a linebacker. I think you're actually okay at that point if you're going to give Pete Werner a bunch of roles. But maybe you want some veteran depth there. I wouldn't mind looking for another defensive tackle. Tough to find one. I think another backup running back is a good area there. In the end, this team's in pretty good shape. You're just banking on Jameis Winston and your young guys taking a big-time step forward. Smokey254 McKenzie, are we going to see Jordan Love play in the near future? If Deshaun Watson is suspended all year, do you see my Texans having 2 top 10 picks? So 2 questions. You're cheating, but I respect it there. I don't see Jordan Love playing outside of the preseason. Like, Green Bay's not going to bench Aaron Rodgers outside of blowouts. So I don't think Jordan Love's going to play that much. And I don't know how much interest there is in him. So I think for Love, he's just kind of stuck in an awkward position behind the Hall of Famer and Rodgers with no path to playing time. As for Deshaun Watson, if he's suspended, let's say all year, you could try to bring back Baker Mayfield. It seems like that race has been run. He's done. That would make Jacoby Brissett your starter for all 16 or all 17 games. And that is maybe a 500 team, if that. So you could have 2 top 10 picks at that point for Houston. From Larry the Snail 900, who will sign Anthony Barr? Good question. Several teams have somewhat been linked to Barr. I think at this point in his NFL career, he's not going to be the same guy he was in his prime. I just don't think he's going to be that high-end impact linebacker, but he can be a nice linebacker 3, linebacker 4. Some teams that could use some linebacker help. Dallas has been linked pretty heavily. Denver could use one more guy. The Lions could always use linebacker help. The Chargers, too. He could be a good kind of hybrid fit for that defense there. The Patriots could always use that hybrid type of player as a Donta Hightower replacement. Pittsburgh Steelers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Tennessee Titans. Those latter 2 teams could always use linebacker help. Seattle in particular I don't love, but are they contenders? I'm not so sure. So when it comes to free agency, I want you guys to shout out your favorite team and then name a free agent you want this time. So a two-part ask, a little bit trickier. So take advantage of this. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, head down there and let me know your favorite team and a free agent you guys want to sign. From Tyler Samples, any news on Trey Flowers? Not really. Very quiet around him. I know he'd been speculated that the Jets could sign him. I think the Patriots could sign him, which does make sense from a fit there. Coming up a down year, I think he signs maybe in a month-ish. He might wait for an injury, then try to get more playing time and cash in again next year if he bounces back in 2022. From Michael McKee, last undefeated team and how late into the year? Oh, good question. Probably got to go NFC then because, the NFC is so loaded. Looking for a good team on that standpoint. Give me the Packers, and they will lose their first game by week 9. It's just a total shot in the dark on that standpoint. Our goal right now at Chat Sports is to get to 300,000 subscribers on our channel right here. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Free videos every single day right here at Chat Sports. Why Big Jordan? Matt Golden Corral is Chris Sims' number 1 QB and also Ben McAdoo's. They don't miss. So when does he dominate the league? This year or next year? That's fun. That's funny. Why Big Jordan? Yeah, those guys definitely don't miss ever. Yeah, I remember Kellen Mond being the next great thing, and who was the running back from Louisville? Oh, Javian Hawkins, top 3 back out of the NFL. To answer your question, he ain't ready. Matt Corral is not prepared to play in the NFL. That Ole Miss offense, not NFL style. It is RPOs, play action, single read shots. He needs time. So if you're hoping for dominance, look towards the future in the end. From Travis, what teams do have a first-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft? I'll get the list up here for you guys. There are some teams who have traded their first-round picks. So the Niners sent theirs to Miami, the Broncos to Seattle, Cleveland to Houston, the Rams to Detroit, and the Saints to Philadelphia. So 5 teams already moved their first-round pick. From Wookie Screech, I don't have it in my repertoire. I can't do one. My buddy can. I can't. Why hasn't Jay Shredder had any interest? It's a great question. I'm not sure. I might even accuse NFL of collusion here because Treader shouldn't be unsigned. And if you have concern about the knees and the medical, I get that. He missed a lot of time in practices last year, but was always out there playing games. But now, after playing at a high level last year, he can't play anymore? That doesn't make sense to me. It should be noted, by the way, that Treader is the NFL president for the NFLPA for the player side. That is not something NFL teams typically like to have. So I would just like to say maybe that's a factor on that side. 6 teams. That makes sense. The Dallas Cowboys, because Tyler Biadasz has not been great. The Raiders, I don't believe in Andre James. The Dolphins should not try the Connor Williams experiment, which they appear to be doing. The Vikings, Treader's better than Garrett Bradbury. The Niners lost Alex Mack. Treader would be a great pickup. And Seattle would also be a good pickup for them for a team that could use some more offensive line help. So when it comes to Treader, will he play this year? Y for yes, N for no. Make your predictions for me in the comments section. Y or N. Evan Hinders. I think Davis Mills has 24 touchdowns, 11 INTs, yet only 2,000 passing yards. It's a very low number of yards, confusingly low. Did he miss time or what? If those are his stats, Jeremy, feel free to chime in. I kind of think that that means Houston's taking a QB early in the NFL draft. Smokey McKenzie, what division do you think will have the most teams in the postseason? So I think on the AFC side, the AFC West is loaded. 4 very real playoff threats. Then it's the AFC North. I think the West is the answer here. The AFC West and the NFC West. 2 divisions that are loaded with talent that are going to have very good teams that can make multiple of those teams in the postseason. From Major Payne, Who will have a better season, J.K. Dobbins or Najee Harris? I think it's pretty straightforward, Najee Harris. And I like Dobbins a lot, but he's coming off injury. Gus Edwards is on the team as well. The Ravens have other backs. Pittsburgh does not. Najee Harris is going to get a massive workload for the Steelers. So I think Harris is the guy you want for NFL and for fantasy on top of that. Now, we are live every Monday and Wednesday. Well, it's going to be Thursday this week, folks, for NBA now. But in the season, we're live on Mondays and Wednesdays here at Chat Sports. Subscribe so you never miss any of our live shows here at Chat Sports. That includes NFL coverage. And my boy Chase Sr. doing NBA Finals watch parties. If you haven't already subscribed, right now. From Brokov, Dalton Schultz and Anthony Brown for Caleb Farley and Austin Hooper. Titans say no. They do get a reliable, an upgraded tight end and a good corner, but Farley was a first-round pick. They're not going to ship out Farley already. They are also a little bit tight on money. I don't think they want to have Schultz and then pay him a big-time deal. So, clever idea trying to get Farley to Dallas. I respect it, but the Titans say no. That is not an ideal move for them in the end. All of the division questions today. Rank the divisions from hardest to easiest. Okay, so let me get them all up here. We'll go AFC then NFC just to separate it. AFC, it goes West, North, East, South, pretty easily for me. NFC, okay, let's go West, North, East, South. There's one good NFC division, that is the West, and I think the South, North, and the East and the NFC would be three of the bottom four overall, with the AFC South also mixed in there. From Ricky Smiles. Have you smiled today, Ricky? I hope so. Does Caleb McGarry have any trade value? Maybe. He has been, to be blunt, not great in his NFL career. The Falcons declined his fifth-year option. Teams are always desperate for O-line help. 5 teams that need a tackle, right? Denver, if Billy Turner's not healthy and is not the guy. The Raiders, don't play Brandon Parker, please. The Chargers, get Storm Norton out of there. The Dolphins, is Austin Jackson or Liam Eichenberg your best fit? I'm not so sure. Tennessee, if you don't trust Dylan Radins or Nicholas Petit-Frere. The issue is Caleb McGarry better than any of those guys? I'm not sure. That's the issue the Falcons and other NFL teams have right now. So McGarry, so far at least, is probably a bit of a draft bust. So what I want you guys to do is be mean. Head to the comments section and name a recent draft bust, probably first round or so, on your favorite NFL team. From Smokey McKenzie, will Derrick Henry get back to form this year, or is he slowly declining? Henry's yards per carry dropped by a full yard last year. As he hits his age 28 season, that is at least a minor red flag. Now, he has had a massive workload in his NFL career. Henry is built different than most, but after 2, really 3 peak years in a row, will he return to form? Maybe not quite that level. The O-line isn't as good in Tennessee, by the way, anymore. That's a big-time red flag. He will be good. I don't think he'll have another 2,000-yard season, though. From Larry Rosen, wow, is Harrison watching from home and manscaping from his couch? Harrison is actually about to leave. I would hope he's not manscaping in the office. That is wildly inappropriate. So, Larry, thank you for that question, and thanks for making it weird, buddy. I appreciate that a lot here at Chat Sports. All right, that wraps up today's NFL mailbag. If we did not get to your question, that's okay. My DMs are open, so hit me up at WhatGoingDowney for any and all of your NFL-focused questions right here at Chat Sports. All right, do you love the NFL draft? Y for yes, N for no. Momentarily, we're going to end things here on YouTube and on Facebook and go Rumble only. So get over there and get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. John Ruiz says yes. I love the draft. Jeremy does too. Everyone here loves the draft because it's a big time event here at Chat Sports. Get those votes in. Y for yes, N for no. We'll give this, go ahead and start the clock about 2-ish minutes, minute 30, Jeremy, somewhere in that range. NFL Daily is going to be on Rumble only for After Hours, the exclusive segment. That link, comment section, and the description as well. So make sure you guys get over there. Rumble.com/NFL Daily. We'll put the link to the stream itself in the comment section and in the description. Get over there. We'll have some fun with the Mel Kiper NFL Draft running back rankings. We'll get that link in there momentarily. I know. It's in there now. I see it. Rumble only. So if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, the stream is going to end, which means you have to head to Rumble if you want to continue and have some fun with the Kiper running back rankings, which I will. I promise to body him at least once, because there's always one weird ranking he does, and I got that one figured out for this one. So how much time we got left there, Jeremy, for you to get over to the Rumble? All right, that's it for Facebook. Facebook, we'll see ya. Type bye. They're out here. Rumble only coming up here on YouTube in 3, 2,